Commercial transaction engineering. In this session and segment, we're going to introduce you to a new concept in commercial financing and investing. We're going to teach you how to structure and engineer a free equity transaction, and this is lesson 1, part 1. No capital is required, no credit, no partners. None of that is required to actually do this. So it only takes courage, focus, and knowledge. Now we're going to provide you with the knowledge and going to give you a reason to do the focus. But the courage part, you're going to have that. All right? So here's the problem. And remember, as a rule, people pay for solutions, not problems. Here's a problem. There are 3 problems that we're going to solve. But let me show you the problems first, because we're only going to solve one of them during this session. All right? Problem 2 is an investor desires to purchase a commercial property but doesn't have any capital, credit, or knowledge to do it. We're going to solve that problem and provide a solution. You said, well, that sounds like me. Well, good. Stick around and you'll get an answer. Third problem, an individual desires to purchase an existing business but doesn't have sufficient capital, credit, or knowledge to do it. We're going to solve this problem too. So let's go back to the first problem. This problem is a residential investor, it doesn't have to be residential, it can be any investor, desires to purchase a commercial property but doesn't have the confidence or know-how to do it. That's the problem. Confidence, know-how. We have to solve that to fix this problem. All right, so here's how this works. That's the problem. We're going to solve this problem first, okay? And then we'll deal with problem 2, then problem 3. And then here quickly, I'm going to tell you how I discovered this process, which is what you may want to do. I made a list of the types of problems I can solve. You should do the same thing too. I put a check mark by the things that I like to do. I put a circle around the things that I'm good at doing. You got to do both. You want to do things you like to do and things that you're good at doing. And I'm good at what I'm doing. I like what I'm doing. I looked at the problem and create solutions based on what I know. I organize my solutions into steps and processing. And I constantly ask myself the question, what if this doesn't work? What else? What else? And that's part of providing the things that I can do. So the things that I can do is I understand the closing process, done that. I can provide financing, done that. Negotiated with sellers, agents, and lenders, I've done that. Reviewed, evaluated documents and negotiated documents and edited documents, I've done that. Prepared offers to purchase properties, I've done that. And the things I can do, continue, I've developed systems and processes, done that. Simplified and complicated things, that's what I do. And I'm solution-oriented mindset. I've done that. I've presented new creative solutions, designed and created a 110% loan program to a lender, assumed non-assumable loans. And I've done a lot of things that I was told couldn't be done or that had never been done. All right. And here are the things that I like to do. I like to negotiate with sellers and agents. I like to develop systems and processes. And I like creating solutions. I like solving problems. I actually look for them. The bigger the problem, the bigger the payoff on it, all right? And I like preparing creative offers. Now, and I like observing patterns, all right? Now, the things that I do very well, now remember this is the process of how you get to do what I'm doing is you go through the process, make the list and check it off, sort things out, identify the things that you like to do and the things that you're good to do and see if you can make the connection. And that's what I've done. I like negotiating and good at it. Preparing creative offers, I'm pretty good at that. Here is where you're going to discover your superpowers, okay? Everybody has something. You can solve somebody's problem here. And I like solving problems. Everybody can solve a problem. If you're working on a job, you're solving a problem. If you're a mother with kids, you're solving a problem. If you are unemployed, you're solving a problem. You need to fix that problem too. And I like developing systems and processes. Now, there's a reason that the stars are by there. And when you actually go through the process and do this, you'll get to this space in this place where in Proverbs 18:16, it says, a man's gift will make room for him. And your gift to make room for you. You'll occupy your space and be in your place. All right. Now, that is when you discover how and where your superpowers are. What you're good at and what you like. All right. Now, my superpowers here is that I understand the financing and investing game. I just understand it. All right. Now, remember my client's problem. Remember the problem. and I understand the borrower's viewpoint, the lender's viewpoint, the investor's viewpoint. And that's about perspectives. The perspective is the ability to see a situation through the eyes of another person. So I understand this. I can think like a borrower, think like a lender, think like an investor. And because of that, it puts me in a position where I can negotiate. And I know what to negotiate, when to negotiate, and how to negotiate. All right? Here, and I ask myself these questions going through this process of solving this problem. Have I had the problem before? Do I know anyone else that has it? If I do, they may have the solution. And who do I know that may have an answer to the problem? All right. And do I think that there are other people that may have the same problem? Because if I can solve this problem and there's a lot of other people with it, I can provide a solution to a lot of people to one problem, which means I can have one solution and provide the solution to a large market if I choose to. Okay. And you can do it too. And this will work regardless of what you do or what field or what sector you're in. And then my question is, and these are the questions I ask myself, how would I solve it? And what is the solution actually worth? How much is this solution worth? And what would I charge for it? And why? And of course, would I pay what I'm charging? Check yourself on your sincerity. I can't tell you I would charge you $1,000 to do something, but I wouldn't pay $1,000 for it. All right. And that brings up another question in the area you have to deal with here is the responsibility. You have a fiduciary obligation here. You have to work on behalf of your clients or other people. That's putting them first, putting yourself last. He that's the greatest among you is the servant of all of the most people. And I know people don't like that. And I get that. But it's true. Proverbs 23:11. He that is the greatest among you shall be your servant. So what we're going to do to fulfill that? We're going to serve solutions on steroids using our superpowers, aka over-deliver servicing. Mark 9:35. If any man desires to be first, the same shall be the last of all in terms of importance and a servant of all. So this isn't about me. I'm not the star child here. The client is. He gets my best, and I basically have a fiduciary responsibility. So I function as a fiduciary on my clients and on their behalf, and I look out for them. I over-deliver. I serve them, and I bring my A theme to the game. And that makes me the king of the thing that I do here. And the same here for you. All right? This is important. It keeps me out of trouble. All right? The mindset matters. I think things through and not just about them. And you're going to see that happen. I activate my brain cells, and in the process, I unlock keys in my mind. And these are my superpowers. And you have some. So I use my knowledge, experience, and creativity to tap into my superpowers to solve these problems. And that makes using your superpower, tapping into your natural talents and gifts, the most important thing you should do. Find out your space and your place of power. It's the space that only you can occupy. No one competes with you there, because you're going to do what you're doing because you're good, you like it, which means whether you got paid or not, you're going to do it. And you're good at it. So who's going to compete with you in that space, in that place? It's your space and it's your place. Occupy it. All right. So I apply my highest values. That's bringing my A game. And one of my value superpowers is to turning solutions into systems. That's one. Negotiating with parties, pulling things together. And I get pre-approved properties. I can do that. And I'm thinking in terms of how I can solve the problem that the client has. And the problem that the client has initially wasn't a money problem. It was a confidence and know-how problem. That's the problem I'm solving. I can interact effectively with lenders. And I'm just taking my superpowers here, things that I'm pretty good at and I'm comfortable doing. And I review all the documents and make changes. And I can prepare and present offers to sellers. That'll help him, which means he won't have to do that. I can guide and instruct him by providing him with a property profile so he'll look at the right properties the right way at the right time and not waste his time looking at all the wrong stuff. And I can coach and mentor the client for more details. That'll give him confidence to move forward, to know that he's not alone. I'm going to help him before, during, and after the transaction. And I know how to structure notes, and that's a super triple power. All right. And I know how to bring solutions to the table. So I can pretty much navigate pretty good and efficiently in this space. Now, I can't do other stuff, but this I can. All right. And I apply my highest value, turning solutions into systems. So I had to first find a solution to the problem and then turn it into a system. And then I tap into my superpower, which is my understanding of structuring financial calculator and the ability to creating structured notes. Now, what's going to be interesting here, guys, you need to listen to and watch for. I'm going to create a $100,000 note. I'm going to pull it out of thin air right in front of you, solving this problem. And I'm going to get 3 paydays doing it, all right? But most importantly, I have to focus first not on the paydays, but on the play days and delivering to the client the best deals I can and bringing my best value, my highest value, and delivering to him at the highest level I can. I have to deliver. You have to focus 100% on helping the client and not yourself. And it's counterintuitive, so it gets to be a little tricky. I get that. All right. So I also integrate all of these strategies and information into my value pack. All right. So let's solve problem 1. Remember what the problem is. He doesn't have the confidence or know-how. How can I get him the confidence? Well, the 10 things I'm going to provide to fix this problem, I will be smiling, I assure you. I'm going to provide 80% of the financing. I can do that. I can get 80% of the money he wants. That means he has to have 20. He going to know that. That'll be clear, but this is about the solution. Can I do this? This is very easy to do. In fact, you can do this, all right? I can provide a property checklist on what to look at and what not to look at, types of properties, the requirements, the parameters. Can I do that? Yep. Where do I get this from? I get this from my funder. I can pre-underwrite the deal. Who does that? My lender. I can review and inspect all the documents. I do that anyway, okay? I'm doing it now for him. So if the interest rate's 4% and I'm working, if I'm 100% true to my value, and I got an offer from a term sheet at 4%, I'm going to see if I can get it down to 2%, even if I have to forfeit any fees. You got that? Let me repeat that. Because I'm working for my client or for you, if my lender gives me a term sheet for 4%, I'm going to see if I can get it down to 1 or 2% or 3%, because I'm working and looking out for your interests first. You say, yeah, but you gave away your points. It doesn't matter. What would you rather me do? The lender gives me a term sheet for 4%, and I ask him, can you make it 5? Can you make it 6? And then present that to you? You say, yeah, that's what I would do. Well, this ain't that. We don't do that. We're breaking the rule. He that is the greatest among you. Don't forget that. It's the check on the greed. All right? You put others first. In other words, I had to put myself at the end of the line in order to get at the front of the line. I can't start at the front. Others, people are more important. Solve their problems, and in the process, yours will be solved. You're going to see that happen here. All right? I can negotiate with all the parties so my client won't have to. All right? And I can prepare an office for him. He didn't have to do that. I write it up, 10 minutes, done. Can do 4 or 5 at a time. I'll present and explain the offer if he needs to. If he doesn't have the confidence or the ability or the know-how to actually present the offer to the sellers or to the buyers or to the realtors, I'll do it with him or for him. All right? And I require on any deal he and I do, the first deal has to be a $1 to $3 million minimum. $3 million max, $1 million minimum on the first deal for a reason, because after the first deal, if we still friends, we can do and go to another level. If after the first deal, we didn't like it, he didn't like it, I didn't like it, then we done. That's why. So, and then this first deal gives both of us an opportunity to work with each other and to see the integrity of the partner you're working with. Everybody do the talk, everybody don't do the walk. All right. And after closing, I'm going to support him as an advisor and a partner. This is a long-term empire building path. If you understand it, you can integrate it and participate in it. All right. And then I'm going to mentor him for his next big deal, which will be whatever you want. All right. That's the process. So I'm looking for this one client I want to do multiple deals with. I don't need multiple clients. One client, multiple transactions. And each one scales up and the process is the same. You guys become very comfortable working with each other because nothing changes. So you start with a $1 million property, and during a year you purchase 3 properties. The last property you purchased was $6 million. Rules apply, 10% equity. You'll play. You'll be amazed at what happens here. All right? But these are the things that I can provide. And I ask myself the question, does this solve that problem? All right? Yep. That does it. Really takes care of it. All right? So, how do I find a solution for my client? All right? I did what I told you. Make the bullet list, present the offer. Here's the solution. I'm going to make a bullet list of all the benefits and solutions I can do for him. I've already made it, so it's just a copy and paste and repackaging it. And I'm going to present my solution to him. And lastly, I'm going to determine the value of the solution. Not first of all, lastly. And then I'm going to also consider a second solution just in case the client says no to the first one. And so we think things through. We think ahead. Okay? Those are the processes. And then I list the solutions I can provide and the benefits that he has and how he benefits from those solutions. It's all about the other person, not about me. All right? And then I determine the price for my solution. But I'm going to over-deliver because, remember, my superpower, I'm bringing my A game, my highest level, not my lowest. I'm not doing the least I can do. I'm doing the most that I'm capable of doing. I'm providing all I can provide. It forces me to up my inner game. All right? And I have to make sure that this list of things actually provide a solution to the individual's problem. All right? Now, here's the framework, how I'm going to deliver this. I'm going to have a clear path for the client to follow that's going to deal with the confidence issue. I'm going to provide him the guidance. I'm going to do the heavy lifting. I'm going to provide him before and after support. And ultimately, I'm looking to be a long-term partner because I don't want to do one deal. I want to do multiple deals with the one person, which creates a path for empire building for him and for me. All right? And my solution, the benefits he receives, the services I provide, the step-by-step plan, the savings he's going to receive, his responsibilities, and I actually lay all of this out and I present it. All right? And my plan is clear steps, clear, simple. Post-closing support, these are key benefits. I'm securing the financing, I'm negotiating when required, and I'm, again, emphasis long-term partner and a path to empire building. And I think I'm getting there. I think I'm solving that problem. All right? My solution, the benefits to him. All right? The services I'm going to provide, the step-by-step plan, the savings he receives, his responsibilities, and the next steps. So we're thinking it through. That's what we do. And then I emphasize and talk about who does what. All right? Who does what? His part, he locates the property. He gets me the rent roll, provides a year-to-date profit and loss statements, conducts the inspections, manages the properties, and he puts 20 to 25% down. That's his part. All right? Our part is to review the documents, get the term sheet. He's going to deal with the financing, prepare the initial offer, prepare offer and negotiate if necessary, and review the closing documents and provide 80% of the purchase price. That's the play. That's the structure. That fixes his problem. Okay? That's the game. And what we receive and require, well, we want a 10% secure equity position in this property. Say it's $1 million, 10% is $100,000. All right? My loan on this property is fully assumable. It's a 10-year term at 0 interest. You can't borrow money at 0 interest. I can adapt to challenges and adjust the numbers because of what I know. And I require a $10,000 commitment fee that's non-negotiable, but it's 100% refundable at closing. And if the individual won't do the 10% for the service, I can't do that. It won't work, all right? I have to offer some other service. And then it's all done initially with a phone interview. I have to talk to the individual. That's how that works, guys, okay? This is sold over the phone, not over an email, which means you have to have the ability to have the linguistic encounter with the client and know how to actually sell your services directly over the phone, all right? Now, what I require to start, now just 10% equity secured. The loan, the terms on my loan, my $100,000 note that I poured out of thin air simply for the asking it's fully assumable. It's on a 10-year term at 10% at 0 interest. And I want you to emphasize something here. 0 interest means that the loan's not costing anything. All right? And there's my commitment fee. Not backing off of it. And remember, they have to schedule an interview to snatch and lock this down. It's no send me a link. It's dial the number. All right? So his responsibility in this, because everybody has their part, is the client's responsibility is to provide 20% of the purchase price. It's to provide the required documents from the property. He's to look for the property. I'm to provide the framework. He's to locate the property and inspect the property. That's not on me. And he's to manage the property. And he has a 100% ownership in the property, which means all the taxes and write-offs and profits and equities is all his. Okay? And all write-offs are his. All of that is what they get, the benefits. Okay? And everybody's smiling. You want to make your client smile, not frown. If they're frowning, then you must be clowning. You want them to smile, right? So the benefits they receive, they get step-by-step instructions. The financing provided and secured. Don't have to remember the problem. We got to deal with the problem. Confidence and know-how. Step-by-step process. Financing provided, you don't have to worry about it. A property checklist, you know what to look for. Pre-approvals, don't have to worry about it. Document review, got a second set of eyes looking on everything. Direct communication line, gets to work directly with me because I'm a partner in the deal. A part of, not apart from the deal. You got that? Key selling point, a part of the transaction, not apart from it. I'm a long-term partner, and I have post-closing support. I'm there after the transaction, after the closing, in the form of a consultant. I'll assist in the management and contract reviews, all of the documents, contracts associated with the property after the sale. And I'm there to offers all of the offers are actually prepared for him. And I present those offers on this property, and I replicate this on more properties, which are going to encourage my client to do more the same way with our goal. Here, listen, goal is to do at least 3 deals a year that are going to total $10 to $15 million in actual property acquisitions. That's the path for empire building, and that's the path I'm going to take one client on. Okay? Not 10, one. So I'm going to work with this one client and on a long-term joint venture using the same program, the same format over and over. You say, well, wouldn't it be better to have 20 clients? If you want to go there, go there. I'd rather have one client to do 20 deals than 20 clients doing one deal. Relationships and connections and rapport is real and it matters and is essential. It is an essential part of momentum building. All right. So here we go. Our costs for providing a solution, my cost. Then here's what it actually cost me to do this. I had to do that brain thing, make that list. Then it required no capital, but it took brain power and time, lots of thinking, brain power and time, using my superpowers, a lot of validation, checking back what if that doesn't work. Then what? Brain power and time. I created the process. It required brain power and time, and I had to use my superpowers. And basically, guys, what I actually did here, and what you want to get good at doing and think about doing, is making your knowledge sell. That's what I've done. Package it here as a joint venture proposal. And that's when we actually start connecting dots and making things happen. So what does the partner get? Well, he gets 100% ownership in the property. 100% of all the equity, 100% of all the appreciation, 100% of all the write-offs, 100% of all the rental income. It's his. And 100% of all the profits when selling. Pretty cool, okay? And here's the layout of our solution and how this thing actually works. It's a numbers game. It's a solution game. I brought my A game. I pulled out the calculator, did the math, used my other superpower, which is the ability to structure notes. And then what did I do? I've given you, what you've seen is the verbal solution. You want to see the mathematical solution, what it actually looks like on numbers here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to structure a debt. Now, what's happening here is that I'm actually becoming a banker right here doing this. And I'm going to take a second or third mortgage. It's going to be for 10 years at zero interest. Zero interest is for a reason. It's to keep the barrier of resistance to my offer down. If I had 9% in here, that's a little bit higher. Oh, I just remove that. My highest value, okay? Who's going to object to a zero interest loan? Come on, raise your hand if you object to a zero interest loan. Okay, that's my point, okay? The loan's fully assumable, which means if you want to sell it, you can sell it. My loan's going to stay on that property, and I'm not going to hinder you from selling it if that's what you want to do. I'm going to help you by not getting in your way, which means my loan is going to be fully assumable. I can charge a $5,000 assumption fee, $1,000, $2,000, or zero. All right? A subordination fee of $500 if needed. I can make that zero. Why? I'm the note structurer. I can do what I want here. I have to make it work, but everything I do has to work for you. You remember? My highest and best value for you. So here you said, well, I wouldn't do a zero interest loan. Then don't you do it. I do. And I explain to you why. And a prepayment penalty of 25%. Whoa, what? Yep, 25%. You said, why? Why would you pay off a zero interest loan? And my rationale is that if you want to pay off a zero interest loan, then you should pay for that benefit. And that's 25% prepayment penalty. All right? What's the message in that? The message in that is that we don't want the loan paid off. That's the message. And if you want to pay it off, then there's a penalty. So here's the numbers, and here's what the actual property looks like. This is a $1 million transaction. Property was valued at $1.3 million. My 10% equity position for the asking is $100,000 straight out the bat. Out the door, $100,000 equity. Okay? You need to see it, because if you can see it, you can sell it. And if you can't sell it, because you don't see it. So if you can tell it, you can sell it. And if you don't see it, you can't tell it. So now I'm showing it to you. Property value is $1 million, and you got to look at it from the right perspective, because if you're looking at it from an investor standpoint, or a lender standpoint, or a seller standpoint, you're going to see some different stuff. And I get that. So what I'm telling you, I'm looking at it from a partner's viewpoint, as a joint venture partner, that I'm going to give you a reason to want me to be a part of your deal, a partner, joint venture partner. And here's the property. Now, you want to be the property owner, you can be the property owner. I want you to be the property owner. You want to be an investor, you can look at it as an investor. You can see what you want to see, because everybody's going to see what they want to see. But I'm going to show you what I'm seeing and what you should look at. 1. I'm looking at the fact that the property is $1 million and the value is 1.3. So when we talk about equity, what part of that is equity calculated on? The actual value of 1.3 or the actual purchase price? Make it simple. All of my equity deals here are tied exclusively to the purchase price, which means what? The property was worth 1.3 million. Yeah, but guess what? I negotiated it down to $1 million. Highest and best value to others. Wait a minute. Are you saying that you negotiated the $1.3 million property down to $1 million? Why didn't you negotiate it? Why didn't you take the 1.3? That doesn't work to my client's benefit. That's why. Greed ain't good. Not here. Values are what matters. Can you do that? The real estate agents can't do that. Well, you need to offer more, Oh, they're not going to accept that. This isn't that. This is a completely different thing. It's a higher level game. It's a game of value and integrity. And I'm providing actual value here. It should be obvious. And if it's not, it's okay. So those are the numbers. Now, for you investors, they're the numbers. Net operating income, $95,000. Annual income, $9,200 monthly. You run your numbers, do whatever you do. Do your cap rates and all that. This ain't that. You can do that. We're structuring a deal here. All right. So that's the income from the property. Now remember, on this commitment fee, it's refundable for me. Yes. Non-refundable. If you want to do that, you can do that. I can't sell it. I won't do that. Because I wouldn't want that done to me. Because that's taking advantage of people. I'd rather do the commitment fee and refund it at closing, and you're going to see why. See, the way this works, on the 80% loan, on the $1 million property, the lender is going to give me $800,000. When the lender does that, that's all I committed to do. My client puts the 2 in. That was clear up front, and I verified the fact that he has it. Okay? So typically a lender pays 1% on a loan like this. We don't do that. We're not 1%ers. We get 2%. In this case, 2% of the $800,000 is $16,000 that I get at closing. All right? And I got $30,000, $10,000 in this case to start. So at the closing, I give the $10,000 back. You feel me? Okay. And I leave the closing with $6,000. Understand the numbers. Now, had I not negotiated from 1% to 2%, I would have had a problem at the closing because 1% of the $800,000 would have been $8,000, and I'm due 10, which means I would have to write a check at closing for $2,000 versus leaving with $6,000. So we saw the numbers in advance. So what do? Negotiate the fee up from the outset, thinking things through. All right. So my investors, you say, well, how do you know the property is worth this or that? We're doing income-based financing. This ain't a fixer-upper. This is a cash flow property. See, some people buy commercial properties. Others buy income properties. My client, what we're buying are income properties. And the thing about the income properties is there are some parameters that we're following. So we're following a formula and a framework. We're not doing guesswork here. Okay? So my deposit, my secured debt is a $100,000 note. All right? And my total profits from this structure is $106,000. That's from one deal. You see the 6,000? Yeah. Do you see the 100? We pulled the 100 out there for the asking. Now, if it's a little too heavy for you, it's okay. If it's okay, trust me, I get that. All right, we're moving on here. Now, the framework, and here's the plan. The first deal was $1 million to $3 million. Okay, property price was $1 million. The value is 1.3. My equity is tied to the purchase price, not the value. Got it? It was 8-unit complex, $1,200 a month per unit. There are the numbers again. Annual 926. We deal with net operating income, not gross. We don't need to do comparables to run these numbers when we're dealing with income properties and we know the framework and the parameters to work with. And what we do, we've now structured a note. Now, all right, I'm going to go fast here. First mortgage from the lender to $800,000. Payments $4,149 a month at 4.7% interest. Total payout, that's what the FV future value is, $1.8 million. I want you to notice the $800,000 mortgage cost $1 million to run the term of the loan. It's going to pay back $1.8 million for the $800,000. That's the power compound. You want to be on the other side of that curve. The second mortgage that we created for 10 years at zero interest is going to generate $833 a month. And that's the $100,000 note. That's the present value. The $833.33 times 120 payments, which is the 10 years, is the $100,000. So his PV and FV, present value of the debt and future value of the debt, are the same. Unlike it is on the first mortgage. Total cash flow, debt service is $4,984 a month. The total income from the property is $9,246 a month, and that gives him a positive cash flow of $4,263 per month as long as he owns his property, and the numbers only increase. You got that? That's financing 101. All right. Now, let's look at these numbers a little closer. Playing with just the numbers. If we look in the left, the equity portion at 10% is where we got the $100,000. But what if we took the same property, $1 million property, and instead of 10%, we did 12%? That's a $120,000 note. And what if we did 15%? That's $150,000. All right. You say, for what? For the asking and for the know-how. All right. It's all a second mortgage. The term is 10 years. Interest rate is 0 on all of it. The payments, the only thing that changes. All right. The payment changed because the equity changed. Item 1 was 10%. There's $833 that's always been there. At 12%, the payments go to $1,000 a month. For how long? For 10 years. You say, well, how much did we put in? We didn't put anything in it. All right. And the present value at 12% is a $120,000 note. How long over the life of the loan, the future value that we get, does it cost? $120,000. All of these numbers are the same on lines, on the PV and FV lines. 15% equity, left side, bottom line. Second mortgage, 10 years, 0 interest. 15% is $150,000. $150,000 note, which is the present value. Future value is $150,000. Numbers are the same. Monthly payments on it, $1,250. Now, this is financing, guys. All right. So we start off here at 10%. Why? It's a fair number. It sounds good. How about that? At 0 interest. Some say, well, I don't like 0 interest. You don't have to. And here's the thing. We didn't put a dime in this deal. We solved a problem, and this is the solution, and these are the benefits for having the ability of solving that problem. We solved a big problem, by the way. We solved $1 million problem. We solved a confidence problem. We solved a know-how problem. And it's not worth less, it's worth something. All right? Just want to, it's not a greed thing here. Because I want to do this same deal multiple times with one person. So I have to give, not take. I have to give my best to my client. That's how it works. All right? All right? So that's how these numbers work. So my client has a positive cash flow. That's my job. All right? Now, we continue with our paper play, and we go through the modifications, and we're going to do this quickly. So you saw the first section about the zeros in the equity position. Remember, with the equity play here, it's for the asking, but you have to do good deals. Next, we're going to look at it a little differently, a little quicker. The equity on this is all 10% on this note. All right. It's all the second mortgage. It's all the 0 interest. The payments change. the value is the same. It's the same $100,000 note, no increase in equity, and payments fluctuate. What's the difference? From 833, 555 to 416 to 277. I want you to see this. At 10 years, as we expand the term of the loan, the payments go down. Why is that important? If the payments don't work for my client, I have to be willing to do this to make the deal work. So if I had to stretch it out on a 30-year schedule and make $277 a month on a 30-year schedule with a 5-year balloon, that's what I do. But when if I have to stretch it out to make the deal work, the positive cash flow, that's fine. But let me show you something here. If the property is cash flowing at $4,263 a month, and my client has a greed issue and says he'd like to get the payments down on the 833, that's zero interest, and he asks for that, then I can do the other stuff. But there's a change going to happen here. And he needs the payments to be in half for $416. I can do it by stretching out the term to 20 years. But if I stretch it out to 20 years and it's at zero interest, it's going to be a 5-year or 2-year balloon. You got that? I can give him long-term rates, but it's going to be a short-term play. So he can do the mortgage payments like it's 20 years, but it's going to be due in 2 years. A balloon, I can do it that way. Or I can stretch it out at 20 and add interest to it. And if I do that, it's going to be compounded interest. But remember, I'm a long-term player. I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt my client or hinder my relationship. It's a long-term play, guys. All right. So about this program, it's not for investors, first-time investors. It's not for wholesalers. It's not for flippers. And it's not for short-term people. It's a 5 to 10 year program. All right. And to get started on it simply takes a phone interview. That's the process. That's the solution. And my cost for the client is $10,000 commitment fee and 100% refundable at the closing. We refund the commitment fee for our security deed. That's the play. Now, question. What if the client says no, not interested? What will your response be? Remember, we think ahead and think things through. It could be scary, right? Well, I have to do some more brainstorming here because the probability of this happening is relatively high. All right. So I can either offer other services. Now, the thing about services, they have to be delivered and they require time. Okay. This, what we just talked about, is a service. It requires time. And I can create products that don't have time limitations, available 24/7, and I don't have to deliver the products. They are delivered, but they do have to be created, and they do have to solve the problem. And I ask myself, what services can I provide in addition to the one I have? The JV package I just presented, that's service 1. The other thing I could consider is a 6-month group coaching program at $5,000 per participant, limited to maybe 5-10 people. You can actually pull $100K out of this. Just this 6-month group coaching. Or I could do a 12-month group mentoring for $15K. I'm not likely to do that with this, but it's a secondary product. Remember, secondary service. First service, we just went through with the JV. Say the guy says no, what do you say? Well, you might want to put in a 6-month coaching program, but it's a group coaching, not individual. Individual, you're taking $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. We're not going there. We're not in it for that. We want to do the deals, the long-term play. This is just a backup. All right. Now, so what about products? Well, I could make a course similar to this one, and it'll be a product. You say, well, would I price it? Well, sure, I price it $1,000 to $1,500. Digital download, access to the videos. A step-by-step video workshop, $279. Be 2 or 3 videos that highlight stuff, step-by-step instruction. That could be my product 2. And I could do a step-by-step blueprint as a product 3 and just give it away as a lead generator. But I have to create these things. And they are solutions to a problem. They have to be solutions to the problem, not just stuff I want to make. So they're very unique. And that's what I have to do that. And then I also have to remember that I have a business line of credit service that I want to mention that too, because I can refer people to my business credit line service website, 1, and have them to apply for my same-day funding program, 2, and then have them to draw down on the business line of credit to pay for the products, if need be, and I profit from selling the product and fees from the business loan. All right? I could do that. Just remember, oh, by the way. And I think what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to offer 2 services. I'm going to scrap the group coaching. I'm going to offer that premium service and a 6-month group coaching at $5,000 because that's relatively easy to do. Okay? And the 2 product solutions I'm going to create, I'm going to have a video course, 1, and a step-by-step workbook. It's a workbook. It's basically going to be a PDF. And that's going to be my product 2. And I'm going to sell it for $279 to $499. You can do the same. Oh, by the way. All right? And, of course, the business lines of credit. So, that's what I'm going to do. So, in order to do this, I need some stuff. I'm going to have to do the website, affiliate program. And since I'm going to do this once, and remember, I'm bringing my highest and best value, what's interesting for you is that who are watching this, you're going to watch what I create. And if you like it, you can do 2 things here. You can either take the knowledge that I've shared with you and do these deals. Okay? And I even joint venture with you if you're a customer. Or you can take one of the websites and watch what I build and take it and do it yourself and have 2 businesses. So what I'm going to do here is in my website to create them products, I'm going to need a homepage, a membership portal. I'm going to put an affiliate program on it, an e-commerce store, membership software, video streaming service, security software, and even some sales videos on it. And I have to do the product creation, the content creation, the course graphics, the course content. And I want to even create an ebook as one of my lead gens. And that's just to do this. Okay? That's the work part. And now I'm going to have a JV program with 2 services, service 1, service 2, and a group coaching, an instructional video product, a digital video course product, and a step-by-step blueprint product. So I got 3 products, 2 services, and here's what I'm finna say. For solving one problem. Okay? You got that? From solving one problem. All right? There are my services. There are my products. Now, pretty cool. So went to work. And 1, there's the cover for the coaching and the step-by-step workbook. Done. Check. And my joint venture video course. Done. Transaction engineer video course. Done. All right. So there's a service and the products that are actually done. And here's the checklist PDF that they have to download. Pretty cool, right? So the summary, the JV program, coaching program, instructional video, video training course, the step-by-step blueprint, a JV site, this was what I got out of doing this. A new business site, a new affiliate program, and 5 solutions versus 1. That's what happened here. So to recap, by focusing on my client's problem and providing my highest value, emphasis highest value I ended up, this thing played out like this. At a commitment fee of $10,000, that's equivalent to you paying to work. You're going to work because you've been paid. You're not going to get paid. So you're paid to work. And it requires your client to commit also, so you won't be working for free. Okay? I picked up the $16,000 in lender fees. I secured a $100,000 debt. It's $116,000. I made the adjustments, paid back the $10,000, net with $106,000. Took me 6 weeks to do this. And that was all about focusing on the client's problem and providing my highest value. And I achieved that. That's how it works, guys. Okay? So for me, I ended up with a new web format, a membership site, 2 services, 3 products, and a repeat client and a platform for more clients. And I can just sell basically or offer basically the video course and not the service. Okay? Pretty cool. Actual value of all of this? Well, you saw the $6,000. We made the $6,000. That was easy. The $100,000 note, sure, it's worth 1% of its value. The products at $1,500, I priced about $1,000, but that's $3,000 in products. Coaching and the mentoring program, you pay $10,000 for a program that people pay $5,000 and you can run 10 people through it. Plus the know-how is where the power's at. And the website containing all the components, well, we're going to restructure the websites and make it basically $6,000 for the website with all of these pieces in it. And what's new is you're going to have an affiliate program and a new membership site. You know, all of that in real numbers, real value, not including me if I'm going to be a coach or a mentor here in it. That's $42,000 in actual value. In other words, I'm showing you what you can show others in addition to what you can do. It's structuring the deals, gave you the framework, solved the problem. That's the first problem. And by solving the first problem, we end up with these solutions. Now, we got the other problems to solve too. My point being here, it pays to focus on helping people versus just helping yourself. So you'll see why these scriptures now matter. He that is the greatest among you should be the servant. And that's what you do. You serve solutions, serve your best to others first. All right. And I'm going to show you, we got some websites, but the sites actually look like. All right. So we got there's a front page. That's a screenshot of the JV site. All right. That's the login to the membership site. We got the courses in here. Of course, the numbers change, but the membership site is already set up. Products are already done. All right. And if you want to change this stuff, if it was yours and you don't like the price, then you change it. But I'm not offering it. I'm just showing you what I created by solving a problem and teaching you how to solve the problem yourself with the JV, lesson 1, and the benefits of it and what I did and what was able to achieve by solving the problem was I provided a solution, and not just one solution, but the solution and multiple products by engaging in that listing process where we list the projects and the problems what you're good at and what you like, making that connection. And this is an example of what you can actually create when you take, T-A-K-E, not make, M-A-K-E, when you take the time to do this. But you do have to take the time, all right? That's the business portal site. For the business portion, we have to plug that in there, all right? And the new JV site has a front-end marketing, has a video sales letter on it, the process and solutions, all the problems, the membership site, all of that stuff's in here. The big tick was the result of solving a problem. I just find that amazing, all right? But I had to share this with you. Now, in the next section, we're going to solve our second problem. Now, this problem is different from the first problem. In this problem, the investor, and this could be you, All right. Desires to purchase a commercial property. Okay. But doesn't have any capital. Now, credit or knowledge. So it's going to be a 100% financing deal here. That's what we got to structure. Can we fix it? Yeah, it's easy. Different from the first one. See, the first one was a confidence and know-how problem. All right, and it's problem 2. Then remember, there's also a problem 3. And the way this actually works, we actually go into our next session, and we're going to solve this problem. All right, so what we'll do, we'll wrap this session up, and we'll see you in session 2.